right, Savannah, what lap are we on? 8? All right.
Huh?
You're jumping, right? Jump flag.
Well, right now I just have the one jump class on Tuesdays from 6 to 7. It started off with just Landon. He's one of our ambassadors. Started off with just him, and then we added a few more of our Phoenix girls, and then we've added on 2 more people that aren't on team, but I think they're about to join Ravens. But it depends on where they are. I mean, you have the really tall girls that they can get off the floor high enough, but their legs aren't, where they want them to be. Or you have the really small people that are getting their legs up, but they can't jump as high. So you almost have to accommodate for that person. So what I've been doing is implementing a lot of different stations, I guess that's the best way I could say it. Stations where it benefits kind of like the whole jump itself. There's stations where I have them hula hoop and they have to walk on their tippy toes, because when you're jumping, you're not necessarily working on your top part. Like, your chest has to stay up, so that's where that hula hoop comes in. It separates the top and the bottom of the person. So as they're moving their legs and having to walk in a straight line, they're focused on keeping their chest up but moving their legs. Same thing in a jump. You have to keep your chest up, arms in the right spot, but you're just moving your legs. So that's helping those kids keep their arms up, chest up, while also thinking about doing another thing and just working on the coordination between, mind, the top part of your body, and your legs. Well, if it's class, I'm a little bit more laid back. I try to make sure I'm a little bit more detailed though, because I'm able to almost be one-on-one. Even if I have 10 kids in a class, I'm able to connect with each kid just a little bit more in a class than I can on team. On team, I have to work on every single group, whether if it's a tumbling group, I have to work on everybody looking the same. But when it comes to class, I have to work on helping that individual person get to their goal and get them there successfully, along with, critiquing, correcting, encouraging, but I have to work with that person individually, not necessarily as a group.
So look, I'm not gonna go with them either. So I need you guys to pick up where I'm at, and then you guys count together, all right? Ready? And 5, 6, 7, slap 1. Good. Come down. Okay, good. Fly, just be a little bit tighter in your legs and try to get up just a little bit faster.
Yeah, your foot kind of turned off to the side too. So that's really important. You guys know when you guys go into a stunt, right? Do you watch your feet go into the stunt, or you just blindly go into the stunt? What do you do? What do you do? You look up. What do you do when you go into the stunt? Do you look at your feet going in, or you just look up? Look up. I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm giving you permission to watch your feet go into the stunt. Because if you see your feet go into the stunt, once you pop up, you know where you are, okay? So when you guys step up on, look at what you're stepping onto so you can make sure that your foot is where you want it, okay? Let's do the same thing. Ready? 5, 6, 7, step. 1, 2, 3.
You're getting them higher, you're getting her high enough to do it. And you guys definitely could shoot her in the air, right? Give her a little bit more behind. The higher she can go, not necessarily to the ceiling. I don't think you guys can get her to the ceiling. Yeah, well, I mean, again, it takes people like me to get girls to the ceiling, even her size, it doesn't matter. But,
Step up, go straight to the scorp, and then get to scale this time. Scorp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, scale on 1. Okay? Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, step, 1, 2, 3, go, 5, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, not bad. Good job. Make sure your foot's not hanging off the side, so keep it flat on top of the mat. 7, 8.
now just trust yourself a little bit more, trust her, and then trust yourself. You know what I mean? Like, don't hold back. I got you. Ready? And 5, 6, 7, slap 1, step 3, dip 5, 7, dip 1, 3, good. Way better, good up. Ready? And high V. And 5, 6, 7, dip 1, 3. Oh, you know what I mean? Try one more time. One more time.
Jump over to that spot.
One more time. Yeah, don't use your shoulder. Up, here. I promise you, if you try to get this hip to this hip, and that's the only thing you think about, the rest of your body's gonna follow. Yeah, now, actually, another way to think about it, do it one more time. Up, make a T. Yeah, exactly. Let's try it. They're just going extension, dip, pull down. And this is the last time. Just make sure you give her a really good pop. The longer she's in the air, all right? And high V, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
Position. So go from the clean of the stretch. You can step all the way up. Step up. 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, clean, 1.
The fundamentals of it, like the technical things, makes everything work. So I really don't care how many reps you do. You can do 3, 4.
All right, so what I need.
Pop off 1, 2. Not bad. When you're at the top, you still kind of brought your leg over, like you're trying to get it past my head, trying to keep it close to your leg. So whenever we're doing it, I don't want you to like kind of kick me, and also you're getting lost with your leg, and I can't grab it. So try with him. We're actually gonna go walk into press.
I'm actually quite impressed with Roman, I'm not even gonna lie. More in the sense of like he knows what he's talking about, and like he's saying things in a certain way that do make sense so they can grasp the general concept of what he's trying to say. The only thing I would change would be his speed. I would definitely slow down his speed, and I would definitely turn up his energy. He knows exactly what he's talking about, and he knows how to like explain it in a way for you to like understand.
What do you think Dad is thinking in his head when he's got 2 of his sons there being able to do 2 different types of stunts effectively and coach, and he gets to step back and like be very technical with his coaching?
Thank God.
Huh?
Thank God. Man, cause here's why, right? It's pretty telling when you can give your 14-year-old son a task like that, and he's pulling it off. Like, she's doing some of these by herself with minimal help, and that just goes to show how good he's explaining it.
Ready?
Let's try it. Ready?
5, 6, 7, 8, dip 1.
And 5, 6, 7, dip 1.
And back down.
3. Good. Squeeze.
Pop
Yes,
off 1,
ma'am.
2.
Clean. Yep.
Much
And you're
better.
gonna straight
Okay,
cradle.
really
Ready?
good.
Squeeze your legs together.
I mean,
Good
that
job.
happens.
And good.
And I mean, with me, I've been coaching since I was 16, but like, I'm going into a decade. You know what I mean? Like in 2 years, it's gonna be 10 years before I started there, since I started coaching. he's picked up so much from like 7 or 8 to 14. So within 7 years, he's already able to like reciprocate the same type of verbiage, the same type of critiques that he was given throughout his whole career, and his career isn't even done. So imagine what he's gonna learn. Not only when he gets stronger, he's able to demonstrate it himself. I feel like that's the only thing he's missing in his arsenal when it comes to stunt, because I can pick up any of these girls and toss them around. That's not the point. It's for them to do it on other people, right? But let's say he has a private. You know what I mean? Let's say he gets to where he's actually like doing privates. He's gonna need to learn how to do multiple reps and not get tired. And I mean, that's why you're there.
Angelo had also had connections with a lot of the high schools in the area. So not only were we running our competitive program, we were also starting to train a lot of the high schools in the area. So we were giving them our expertise and our training, and they were coming there as well too.
Real quick, tell me how important that is from a coach's standpoint to have cheer at a school and in competitive cheer. How important is it for those school cheerleaders to go to elite competitive cheer training gyms to be able to go to a gym like Silent Fury now, you know, and get their training, get their fundamentals there?
It's vital. Like, let me tell you, it's the world, and let me tell you why. So if you have a company or a store, location is very important. If you might ask, why is location important? Because you don't want to put a child's clothing store in a big city area where most people that live there don't have kids, right? Wouldn't make sense. So when you have a gym, a cheerleading gym, it's going to be vital on both sides. It's going to be vital for the business side, and it's also going to be vital for just the sports side itself, because of the fact that when you're in high school and running a program, you're not going to get the latest, or you're not going to get the highest end training in a high school. You're just not. And I think that's for more, reasons that most people would understand, because high schools aren't going to put that type of money in those type of things, especially into a cheerleading program. They might do it for their football team or their basketball team or something like that, because that's the predominant sports in the U.S. But they're not going to put that into a cheerleading program. So if you really want to take your program to the next level, you're going to look for the highest level of training, which is going to be competitive gyms or all-star gyms. That's what we were at the time. But in the same breath, if you're that gym, you have to have kids coming into the doors to pay the bills, right? And where are you going to find the most kids at? At a high school or school, right?
I actually was training Emma Hartley, who is an athlete at Waller High School, and then at the same time, one of our camp staff, Maddie, just graduated from Waller High School. So it was a little bit of a relationship there already. But Emma's mom reached out to the coach. I went out to a stunt clinic that they were doing, and we talked during that time, and I really respect how she runs her program. It's a lot like what I would do as a high school coach, based upon the range that she has, because she's got a freshman group all the way up through seniors, all within the same team. And I was giving them a lot of the information that we would have to let them know that they have a home outside of their gym or their school that they can come and work on their individual skills, but also work as a team, learn new skills, get better, work on safety, and form some new bonds.
What are y'all working on right now? Cheers and chants.
Yeah, we're not really.
Oh, well, Varsity's been working on our school songs, but there's not.
We don't have any.
Here.
Yeah, it's not. We can play around. Like we did quarter ups.
Yeah, at our DCA camp, we did like a step, like a quarter up type.
We had to do a thing where we were like this, and it went to hands, but it was a full start.
Okay, we got that.
Well,
we can
we're
take care of
gonna
that.
do the
Let's do
quarter
quarter up, and then you guys a J-up that'll get you in the hand?
Yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's go for it. Ready?
So that's where it's vital for both ends. If you want to keep your doors open as a gym, you have to keep new bodies coming in. And what better way to keep new bodies in than to be connected to a school? That's where Angelo was inspiring to myself, and I'm sure a lot of others. But he created so many relationships with schools, businesses, parents that may not be connected to schools, but they may be connected in some way to other youth. He took advantage of all those things because he had a great business mind, but at the same time, he was just a great person. I think before the kids fell in love with Angelo, I think a lot of times the parents fell in love with Angelo because they understood what a great heart he was and what a great heart he had and just the type of person he was. It's infectious. Yeah. Like when you meet him, you understand. I don't even think I have to elaborate on it anymore, but when you meet him, you understand. But it's vital to be able to have those relationships with schools because we're gonna feed off each other. As a competitive gym and having the experience that a competitive gym would have and the experience that a coach like Angelo would have, he's gonna be able to give those athletes skills, knowledge that they would never be able to get from just the high school alone.
Number one, they're fun. There's a lot of energy on the floor. They get comfortable with the coaches, and they can let their guards down. So they're not so protected that they don't want to try anything. So I can get them. Actually, Kenny and I can get them to try new things. They're eager to learn. Well behaved. Manners matter a lot for us, and their parents come sit and actually watch their practice during that time, and we've got nothing but good feedback. It's a hot gym, we don't have air, so that tends to be a little some things where they have to kind of take some breaks, get some water, sit in front of the cooling areas, but other than that, they're working their butts off. There is so much potential in the program that it's almost too difficult for me to say one specific thing, but they've got a range of things that they can definitely improve on. But the main thing is that they're willing to try anything.
Most schools, especially high schools, middle schools that are doing school cheer, regardless if it's just cheer for that school or whether they're doing competitive, because there are schools that do competitive cheer. I'm not quite sure on which one that they are doing as of right now, but they know how to communicate with each other. I can definitely tell that they don't step on each other's toes. They do listen to their captain and their co-captain, and they take into account that they have done this longer and that they know and they have the knowledge, so they want to listen. So that definitely is a good asset that they have, and I think that that's going to help them throughout their season and many more to come if that's the way they want to make that happen. If they make that to where that's their legacy, that's what they do, is make sure that they listen, make sure that they are kind and they're working as a team. That's definitely going to bring that school some good light. Those kids are Haley, and then you have Timmy, Carson, Amaya, Macy, and I think there's two other, but I can definitely see that they're taking what they've learned and applying it. They are getting to know us as coaches and not necessarily us as like, oh, that's just my class coach. That is now my team coach. I will be seeing them more than just 1 hour a week. I will be seeing them from 3 hours on a Wednesday and then another extra 2 hours, maybe an extra practice. So they're definitely, they've transitioned very well. Some, I think this is their very first time doing competitive cheer. Others, not so much. They came from other gyms, and they just, they seem like they're at home now. They seem like they're enjoying themselves. They're getting to know people, and they're getting familiar with what we're trying to do and our style of, teaching competitive cheer. So I think that they are adapting and, transitioning very well.
So I'm just gonna kind of watch, and I'll be kind of like a quiet guy in the corner, watching and making sure what you guys are doing, we can match up when we get back to practice. So this is gonna be an everybody thing. So this is a we thing. What I want to see is your best work that you guys have been doing so far at the clinic, okay? And so some of us haven't really stunted a whole lot, but I'm starting to see some really, really good things, okay? The tumbling and everything that we've been working on, I'm starting to see some people get some skills. So eventually, everybody on this team is going to have a skill that they're proud of, that they're going to take forward for whatever's going to be, whether it's this season or next season, or if you're going off to college, you'll be able to take something away from the experience you had here. So you guys did a great job. All right, you guys want to take us out? Who's worse?
Everyone did great today. We worked on new stuff. We worked on lids. We did work on new tumbling. You all did great. You're sweating. You look beautiful. And live. Okay, ready? Waller on 3, Waller on me. 1, 2, 3. Waller!
All right, so
I'm trying. They're like opening and closing the door, making sure that nothing's sticking out, and yeah. There you go, Jacob. So smart.
Situated. It's getting situated.
Situated?
Situated. And then right here, and then you can have multiple people working around. Perfect. Primo.
And then within a couple weeks, we had 3 teams, and we're just like, it's not the parents' fault because they come in and they're like, oh, we're joining this team, and we're like, no, this team just started. Like, just give us a couple weeks. I mean, it's not like we don't know what to do, but it takes a minute.
Yeah.
The one
Plus
team.
you need to see what you have. Like, you can't create a little 3 team.
Here, absolutely. Here, 2 in a bag, 2 in a box,
Then into there. Now, if you could help me turn these off for a second, you can just switch one? Yeah, all the way up. Then what I'll show you is how to pick items, and then I'll come back in here and I'll let you guys kind of do it and just kind of foreshadow. So if you guys could hear, if I say like, okay, my mom has 3 items that need to be pulled, you'll go to the green checks, go to sheets, where'd she put it?
What's that?
Right now I think the one with the most experience is Haley. She definitely is a powerhouse. She has great energy. She's very, very positive, and she definitely tries to help out her teammates. She definitely will, be a fun person to watch throughout the season, just because I know she's had a few rough past, gyms, and she's trying to find her home, and hopefully this is one. I enjoy having her here. I enjoy seeing her.
Why am I doing cheerleading? I'm doing cheerleading because I like the passion, I love the enthusiasm that goes in it. I love to cheer the teammates, and I like pushing myself. So I do it just for the all-around reasons.
Tell me about what you are noticing about her being the captain of her at Waller High School, and then playing another role on Raven.
Well, I think she's co-captain, so I think her and Emma Hartley are captains on that team. But I saw in her a very good leader, really good attitude, Haley is someone that I think that if given the right space and the right tools, can be a monster when it comes to leadership.
What do you think she's missing?
Just a little bit of direction.
Talk about how she helps in the
Yeah, she does help. She comes in, she will message me and say that she will work for Resale Valet, which is a little store that my mom actually created. I want to say in like 2006 or 7. I'm not like entirely sure of when that started, but basically we just sell, you know, people's clothes that can't fit them anymore, or they maybe bought the wrong item and they couldn't take it back. So basically we're on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark. There's different platforms that we sell some of the athletes' clothes or shoes, books, toys, so that it could help their bill sometimes, or if they just need a little extra cash. So it's a great kind of back and forth, and she's in there, she's taking pictures of items, she's either grabbing them and packing them, so she's definitely helping a lot when it comes to Silent Fury and Resale Valet.
Like, people think, oh, you just throw your items on eBay and they all sell. No, you've got to have a certain way you're titling it, put certain keywords that are searchable that make you rank higher when someone puts in Levi's women's jeans. You've got to know what to put. So I've been spending the last few years kind of refining this business, and it started off as a fundraiser. Well, all the parents just brought me. I was just like, oh, are you kidding me? And I think I have maybe 40 boxes for this one mom. I mean, this mom is bringing in $50 to $100 a month.
Wow.
Just, I have records to prove it.
I'm not a big soda drinker.
Carbonate, right?
Get sparkling water. Tea or sparkling water.
Carbon, you know, the bubbles, the fizzy stuff that comes up. Now, when you drink that, it takes oxygen for you to have all those fuzzy, fizzy drinks, right? So why would you come work out for 2 hours, burn all this energy, work your body out, and then go put a bunch of sugar back in your body and drink a bunch of soda?
Because it's good.
But you defeated your last 2 hours of working out. Because in order for your body and your muscles to work,
I don't like you.
it needs oxygen. It needs clear, clean oxygen. But you're giving it to the soda. The soda and all that carbonation is taking your oxygen.
Yeah, Anna.
So you need water. When you leave here, rehydrate with water. And you need vegetables. Not a
I love
Whopper,
vegetables.
but not a Whopper, and not gummy bears. And
Hey, I got the strawberries.
strawberries.
I like vegetables. Strawberries.
That's not a problem, good, but you don't need a Whopper in grease.
One more time. Well, not
You want me to show you what a Whopper's made out
Come
of?
back here. What is it?
A chopped up cow.
What? It's chocolate.
Yeah. A Whopper? Like a hamburger?
No, it's like candy.
No, not a Whopper. You mean chocolate candy Whoppers?
Yes.
We can still talk about what that's made of.
Delicious. Yeah, bye.
Exit stage left. He said deliciousness.
I don't want to leave.
Oh, every week. Every week. You told me to throw my ankle weights in the trash. And now you don't want to leave. These are trash.
Our class goes
Good. He told me to ignore the camera. I know, but that's what he's asking. I know. So you've got to give I was profound, intellectual answer. I got caught off guard. It was good. We worked on, I don't know, level 1 stuff. I'm working on it. Yeah.
You gotta talk with the boss man
I
right
got to
there.
talk with the boss.
How many do you have?
Kids? I finally got
Three kids.
the things up on the walls.
Talk about how important private lessons are to coaches.
Privates are so huge for both sides, because for me, a private lesson, I'm not gonna lie, it's not cheap, okay? But at the same time, having one-on-one training with an experienced coach, it's huge, because most kids are fighting just to get 2 or 3 minutes with a team of 16, 25 kids. When you're able to get just 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or an hour with one coach by yourself, you may only get that in 2 years on a team of 25 or 30 kids.
If I'm seeing that repeatedly they're not able to meet the basic requirements of a particular section, if it's tumbling or even if it's stunts, the stunt group may need a private time to come in and work on things. But when it comes to just individuals, if their execution of that skill is not measuring up to the entire field, and then there might be times where we need to adjust based upon our schedule and practice to where it's like, this is choreography time, this is team time, we can't work on that individual skill now. If you're not in a class, you have to get that time in somewhere.
So private lessons are basically set up to pay attention to that one kid. So most people think that you can only have a private lesson because tumbling is involving one person. Well, when it comes to flyer, literally when it comes to stunning period, I've done both. Like not only like do flyers need to know how to fly with a good base, like with an experienced base with somebody who knows what they're doing. It significantly changes their view on how they're supposed to stunt with less experienced bases. Good flyers make really good bases.
Like a flyer that knows how to squeeze, it's gonna be natural. And then you're gonna be like, man, why didn't I go up? Yeah. You know what I mean? So, speaking of that, we're gonna try to just go straight up.
I've done it one time.
Yeah, it might be a little bit easier. You just gotta do what you just squeeze. I'll be here.
The same, or am I gonna hold it like this?
So look, I'll do it one more time. I'll do it with you. Keep that foot next to that foot. Once you snap up, keep it there.
Wait, are we twisting?
We're turning, we're twisting, but we're going up. So you're going from here to here. You see where my hips are? You see where my hips are? They're here. I'm taking like these parts of my arms and I'm pushing them towards my hips. Yeah. Like here, here.
Okay.
As fast as you can. Ready? And 1, 2. That was okay. So squeeze your ankles like right now. Yeah, and then squeeze your booty. High V. Pop off 1, 2. Okay, alright. So you see, it's literally like just straight up.
Yeah, and you just.
Yeah.
I'm gonna basically hold like.
So I got it right here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just opening my hand to get a platform.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be right here, but it's almost like God gave you that for it to fit.
Okay, I see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I literally always grab it like that.
Okay.
So I have like a little bit of support with the other one, but each hand has a foot.
All right. So,
I've literally never dropped a flyer. Now that I think about it, like no flyer has never really hit the ground with me, right? So not only am I confident that I can teach you how to do a certain skill, but it's important for you to learn from someone who's experienced, because once you go and you're stunting on somebody less experienced, you're safe. You know what you're doing. You can low-key correct them and help them become a better base.
How important are private lessons for you guys? Because I know that sometimes athletes don't know what they don't know. They're not sure how to really take the natural progression steps from 1 to 2 to 3 to be able to do level 5 and 6 stuff. But I think that the private lessons kind of get either sensationalized, where it's strictly about the coach and how many private lessons I can get, or it's so individualized by the athlete by them saying, oh, I need to make sure I'm the best coach and doing this private lesson so that I can get this skill. They're not necessarily doing the private lesson to fix said issue in order to get to the promised land of all the other skills. But how important for you guys as parents are private lessons at this point?
Well, you know your dad's a perfectionist. So in the, I think for Claire and some of the other athletes I've heard, like sometimes they go into a private lesson thinking, okay, I've got you know, my back handspring, I'm working on my tuck now, and they'll get in there and he's like, we're gonna fix your round off. Like, and they might do 3 lessons and just do their round off because, like we talked about the safety thing, he's not gonna let them go to the next skill until they've perfected that one. So I think they're really important, the privates are, but I think it can be a frustration sometimes because if they go thinking, you know, oh, I'm gonna go work on this, but then he's like, no. But it works out. So Claire last season, she had a growth spurt and she had to redo her round off. And so she went to like 3 or 4 privates and she was just doing a round off, but now she's starting to work on her tucks because she was able to get that, because if she hadn't gotten that foundation, she would still be working on like just a back handspring. So yeah, I think they're great. And I love, you know, Kennedy's told me multiple times, she's like, he's a perfectionist. And I'm like, oh yeah, I see it. And so the girls know it too. So I think it can be like, sometimes it can be like 2 steps backwards and then 3 steps forward, but it's, yeah.
The private lessons I actually really enjoy are the more personal training private lessons and the getting ready for the next level private lessons. I've done a couple private lessons where basically they're like, I'm not sure if I should try out for this level 3 team. I'll say, we'll come in for 25 minutes and let's run through level 1 through level whatever. Let's say they're going into level 3. Let's go through 1 and 2 and see if you have all the skills to be able to try out for level 3. And those are more of my favorite because I can be like, okay, this is just basically what you need to work on to be able to go to the next level. And so the kids and parents have in their mind of just like what they need to work on instead of guessing and getting that rejection of not being able to make whatever team that they're going out for.
But they don't encourage it to take advantage of anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? Because we just had this conversation with Britton, my 7-year-old, and how, you know, we're in the tumbling class on Mondays. You know, she's a flyer, so do we work on flying? Do we do jumps? And he said, there's really nothing right now at this point that she needs to do. You know, she can do a couple of privates just to get solidified in some things, but not to overtake time and commitment, because we all have lives, and that's what he emphasized. We're all busy. We all have additional kids, right? We have to get places to place. So I think that's important to know that they don't just, you know, say, oh, you need to have a private.
Yeah, it's not just really a money grab.
Right, it's really based on
their
individual needs.
The parents, in any sport, in my opinion, the parents are so important and so vital because they are the ones that make a decision on if their kid's gonna be able to do that sport or not. So if you have a sport that's not very popular, there's a good chance you're gonna have low number of kids, so it's gonna be harder to keep a gym open, but at the same time you're gonna have parents that aren't willing to put up the funds in order to keep their kid in that sport because it may not be that popular in that state, which was one of the reasons why they made the decision to move the company to Texas. And I just remember once the company was moved to Texas, and once I got involved with the company in Texas, it was seriously like night and day how parents, their mentality. The parents in Missouri, I'm not gonna say they weren't willing to put up the funds for their kids for the sport. It was just once we moved the company to Texas, it's just like the families and the parents had a completely different perspective on the sport. It was if the sport had the same popularity in Texas as you would see a basketball, a baseball, or football in most majority of states. Seriously, I can't remember one moment where we ever had an issue with parents not paying a tuition in Texas.
Right.
We rarely heard an issue with parents not paying tuition. The only issue we ever had was actually getting people into the door. But once they were there, we didn't have those issues. And with the reputation that we had and Angelo had with coaching, it was almost as if people were seeking us because they understood what our value was and what we can do for their athlete, for their child, as far as training to be, you know, the best cheerleader that they can be.
Being a coach, you know, a lot of times we don't necessarily get the pay that we think we all deserve. So you have to supplement it somewhere. You know, there's the people doing DoorDash, Uber, you know, every other side job. But, you know, for coaching, we already have one kind of built in. So, you know, depending upon, you know, what your experience level is, your range of private lessons may determine, you know, whether you're paying for a car note, if you're paying that extra bill, you know, all those things that you know, kind of need, that could kind of supplement those things. And I do quite a bit of lessons simply because, yeah, being the owner of the gym, I'm not always going to pull a paycheck. That might just be what's going to get me through the week, you know, or get me through the month. And in that space, it's just, you know, kind of depends on how often those kids actually need a lesson versus, okay, let's get regular lesson.
I would be able to make an income for myself personally that most adults would make with whatever career they're in. I would be able to make that just off private lessons alone. And there would be times where one day I would have 6-7 private lessons back to back to back to back to back. When out and living in Texas, I would have some parents that would be like, hey, let's schedule the next one. Let's schedule, like, I would actually have to turn up, unfortunately, I would have to turn some parents away because I just didn't have enough time to fit them into my schedule. But parents started to realize that, you know, there's something with Viper that we should probably go over there and head over there and figure out what's going on. And at that point, we started to create a reputation in Texas to where everybody was coming to our gym for training. For some reason, everybody came to our gym at one point to either go to an open gym or to take a private lesson or to need help on a back handspring or a back tuck, or they just couldn't figure out how to land that full or whatever it may be. They were coming to our gym.
Tying the knot between, you know, mental blocks and you as a coach and how you've got to go about decoding all of that. Where do private lessons come in that process?
Well, in that case, you know, just decoding what happens in a mental block and understanding what that relationship with that skill and that kid is. Private lessons can come in handy because if you have a kid that's not throwing their skill in a big class, that kid's isolating themselves, then you've got to spend a little bit more personal time, and then that rest of that class is not getting your attention. So that's where the private lesson comes in. You can break things down. You can micro teach the class and teach them small parts, which will help them learn bigger steps. So those little things build the bigger picture. And that flows into sometimes regular private lessons, to whereas as the kid grows, they probably feel a little bit more comfortable trying to do things on their own without the world watching than go and show the world what they've been working on.
The reason why perfection over progression is important because the small skills are going to get you the big skills. Like, those are the hardest things you're going to learn. A round off is going to be the hardest thing you're going to learn. So if you have a perfect round off, everything after that is going to be like easy and you're going to get it naturally. So like the progression is going to come. You know what I mean? It's really kind of letting your body feel what's right. You know what I mean? And with our guidance, it just goes faster.
All the way around, from one side to the other.
We're on world teams, level 5 too, right?
Level 5 when I was doing it, now it's level 6 now.
Yep, level 6 and level 6, right? So all level 6, which is the top.
Your kids are amazing. They do a really, really good job. And as much as you guys are giving to us, we feel like they're getting a lot.
Except for that. Except for
right there. Good. So let's practice the seat roll part. Yeah, let's practice seat roll.
But I'm gonna push my hands out like this. I'm gonna kick my right leg, and my same kick leg, I'm gonna drop down. So watch, so I'm here, okay? Say music's gonna start, and I'm gonna shuffle step, and I'm gonna go kick, roll. Yep.
I was humbled, I was honored, I was nervous. I
I was like, oh my goodness. So I went in, I did my best, man.
I like it a lot, like a lot.
Then hush it. I want 1, I grab it, 2, I jump up, 3.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad this other see me because I just got done with 7 hours of choreography. It looked crazy.
So